Welcome. In this video I'll share with you some tips and tricks on how to make and use a bow drill. Right now I'm just gathering some resources, some grass, some dandelion seed heads so I can make a bird's nest later. Now on to resource number 2. I'm actually looking for a piece of wood that I can use for my hearth board. On this particular occasion I've chosen some ivy. I actually spotted this ivy last time I was out, and after a quick test realised it was extremely dry, so yeah, should be perfect for what I need it for. Now I found the right piece, it's just a case of shaping it for later. Just before any negative comments start, I understand that I'm using a hatchet close to my fingers. You know, I was a chef for many years. Part of my chefing included butchery, so I've used heavy cleavers in the kitchens. Before that, I also worked in timber treatment where I also used a hatchet. So I'm extremely confident with both knives and hatchets. In fact, I'd rather take a hatchet on a camp than a knife any day of the week. I also use the hatchet to create the divot that the spindle sits in during the initial burn. One thing I actually forgot to mention in this video was the length of wood that you use for your bow. How I usually measure it is I stretch my arm out and I go from the tip of my fingers to my shoulder, or just slightly over. Now resource number 3. I've spotted some dead standing linden or lime tree, or if you're American, basswood I believe it's called. So yeah, this should make an ideal spindle. It's actually a good size. I should be able to get 2 out of this one piece. So, just off the floor. No need to make things too complicated, but just off the floor there, I've got a nice little bit of bark to put underneath it for an ember. Just grab the ember and I'll go underneath my hearth board when I've made it. I've not made it fully yet, but yeah, time to make the spindles. So this one I believe is basswood or lime, and I want it to about there, or maybe you might even do that section there. I might do that section there. I know it's 2 cuts, but then I've got two possible spindles. I've also got a piece of I'm going to do a smaller spindle as well, and I might as well, now that I'm not using this piece of hawthorn, I may as well cut this piece of hawthorn and try another hardwood and see how that goes, you know what I mean, on this hearth board. So this is going to be obviously my bow, and if I just get in a little bit closer there, yeah, I've just put a hole through there. Obviously I'm going to need to widen the hole a little bit, but I started off with my Swiss Army knife with the chisel, and then after the chisel I went across just to finish it off with the leather punch. So the hole needs to go around about there. Around about there. So the hole needs to go in around about here, which So I'll start off with the chisel, because it seems to go in the wood nice, and I'll bring you back when it's done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the board in, yeah, which basically just means do a little bit of a burn so that the spindle and the hearth board meet up together as one. The hearth board's on a bit of an angle, and the rope's a little bit on the tight side, but once it loosens off a little bit, it should be alright. Already getting smoke. Keep it going for a second. That's it. Don't want to go too deep, because with it being a small spindle, it will cut through the wood really fast. So now I've had a little initial burning, I'll just cut the notch in, which, believe it or not, is quite easy because it's a little bit punky. I've seen various different methods of putting this notch in here. Some leave it quite wide, quite open and quite shallow, but for the most part I think about a 45-degree angle is sufficient to get the embers working, and not quite to the centre, just off centre, if that makes sense. I'll show you in a second anyway, once I've done it. Try and make the sides as smooth as possible. So as you can see, it's not quite to the centre, but maybe I might need to widen it a little bit, we'll see. Now where's my bit to catch the ember? But before I do that, let's make the nest. It's only going to be a quick fire, we're not going to have a proper fire anyway, proper fire. But I am going to blow it into flame. Hopefully. Let's get that nice piece of wood that I got before. Let's catch the ember, if we make one, if we're successful. So when you're putting your spindle in, yeah, make sure that your spindle's on the outside, because if it's not on the outside of the bow and it's in the middle here on the inside, yeah, you're not going to be able to use the full length when you're moving backwards and forwards. Also, when you're actually moving, try and keep your spindle in a straight line and your bow in a straight line if you can. Don't let it hit the floor, because that then interferes with the overall running of everything. No, it doesn't keep it smooth. So keep your knee out of the way. Use your shin bone to press down, apply pressure to the spindle, and then try and keep the spindle moving in a level motion. Once you see smoke, build speed a little. Press down a little more. Keep the speed going. In damp weather, once you've got it to this stage, pick it up off the floor. So, because any moisture on the floor will put this out. It's a very delicate ember. So yeah, get it up off the floor straight away and just let it do its thing. Now I've not got much of a bird's nest there,
but it is only a demonstration.
Top tip, always lift the bird's nest up, because obviously flames want to rise and you don't want your face over the top if it suddenly bursts into flames. Another quick tip, if you push your lips together a little bit tighter as you're blowing, that'll reduce the moisture from your breath and enable the coal to sit there and establish itself faster. So just bear that in mind. I'd also usually turn my back towards the wind. That'll also help establish the coal a bit better without the moisture of your breath, but on this particular occasion there wasn't really a lot of wind at all.
There we have it. Took a while because, as you can hear the popping, the grass is a little bit wet, but a little persistence goes a long way. From here you just throw your oven cinders on, your stuff match size, and grow your fire. Cheers for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. There'll be more of these to come on all different aspects of bushcraft, so natural cordage, more fire making skills, more campcraft type of stuff. Anyway, take it easy. See you later.